Welcome to the Gainin on Memphis podcast with Aaron Shriver, brought to you by Arlo Revolution. Each week, Aaron connects melodies and memories with fans and artists from all genres of life. When all else in life is gone, only music will be left to leave the legacy of life's adventures. Please welcome your host for the Gainin on Memphis podcast, Aaron Shriver.
Hey guys, what is going on tonight? I am way too close for this camera angle. I do not like this. So I'm doing some minor construction down here and trying to put together a little podcast desk, and everything goes right till you go live, and nothing ever goes right. So, and I had a nice new board that I was going to show off tonight, but hey, we're live. It's going to be a fun night, and I'm going to have a fun show. I'm just excited for it. So, but yeah, guys, welcome to episode 36 of the Getting Fast on Memphis podcast. And it's a place where we're going to connect some melodies to memories tonight for sure. And I'm really excited about this one. But we're presented by our good friends over at Arlo Revolution. You guys saw a little quick video about them. Cinematic, wedding films, music videos, and promos. All of our friends over at Patreon. Let me make sure. No web, no sexy angle. It's like extreme close up. So actually, I do have two camera angles that I do. He got me all sidetracked now over here looking at them. Oh man, I don't have a say. Yeah, I do. So look, I get to do this camera angle instead. Be a lot different. I could look at you guys up here and say hi. And you can see me read my notes. But yeah, going back to it, presented by Arlo Revolution and all of our friends over at Patreon. We are gonna have a really fun after show tonight for everybody that is on Patreon. Give me a nice little half an hour catch up. We're going to bring Emily and Dan and Lynn on. And first, going to be a little bit, you never know what's going to go down for that. But then also over to our on-screen sponsors, Art on a Higher Wire by Joel, original custom artwork inspired by your life moments, treasured photos, and memories. You can find them on Facebook, as well as Janet Stoth Creative, online marketing services guaranteed to make companies be found and exceed on the web. Find them on Facebook as well. And then big shout out to our buddy over at Corey Oliphant and the Original Church Choir, as you see them on the on-screen sponsors as well. And we're really glad to have them on. So tonight, I'm very excited. We're gonna have a fun one. But everybody that's on Patreon, you gotta check this out. So this month, next week, we're gonna be giving away this month's prize pack. So there is a female version and a male version for the shirts. So whoever wins, I will contact you and see. But we will be drawing live next week, right at the beginning of the show. And we're going to be talking a little bit about this tonight. But Jeremy Spillman's book is also in next week's prize drawing, and it's an autographed copy. So about the next 4 months, we're going to have autographed copies of that book. I cannot wait, and it's going to be a good time. So if you guys are looking for ways to support this show, Patreon is always our bread and butter and where we start off with. But other ways could be hitting that share button for us tonight if you are watching live, or if you're listening back on Thursday or hereafter on the streaming side of things. If you just give us a quick 5-star review over here on Apple, it was pretty cool. We broke the top 200 again on Apple iTunes or Apple Podcasts for music interviews. So we came in at 196 this week on that, which was pretty cool. But over for some odd reason on Spotify in Greece, we broke the top 80, and it was the oddest thing. So I get these updates wherever the show lands on different charts. And today I think we were out on both of them, but as of yesterday, I was moving up on Greece for a little bit. So if you're listening in Greece, thank you guys for listening, whoever you are. Send me an email. It'd be pretty cool. I'll send you guys a coffee cup or something. I don't know how long it would take to get to Greece, but hey, I'll send you guys something if you're listening. That's pretty cool, though. So, all right, let's go ahead and move on to my next page. And the next page is our guest for tonight. You guys ready? I think she's ready. Oh, that music's too short. There you are.
That's what she said.
Yeah, right.
Hi.
Started that off with a good one right there. My bedtime alarm's going off on my phone already. How are you doing?
This angle's way too close for me too, by the way. I'm great.
I go back to my other view.
You're looking good.
That's even closer over here. But
No,
how
God, no.
how you been? How's life in Florida treating you?
I've been good. It's good. We're opening back up. We're doing things. We're getting out there. Still, this far apart, but we're getting out there. I've been working this whole 6 weeks, or 7 weeks, whatever it is now, because I work for the
Yeah.
utility. But yeah, I can tell the traffic's getting back out there and people are getting back to doing what they want to do.
It was nice for a while. There was no traffic or anything like that. I was like, man, this is gonna be awesome out here. But yeah, it picked up really quick again.
Yeah, I got spoiled. Yeah.
No
Oh my
snow in
gosh.
Florida, right?
How far back did you go on my Facebook page?
I don't know. I was digging. Sorry, I'm trying to get this audio right. Here we go. I think that's a little better. So I've been messing with mics and everything else for the last 2 days. You got a fan club on tonight. Vicky, a bunch of
Hey, thank you
people.
guys. Hi, Vicky.
Liz.
It's Maura. Hi.
Everybody.
Liz.
So
I know Liz was watching a live show, so I'm glad she hopped on here.
oh, look at that. So you got to tell me about what happened or what life was like back in 1987. And what drove you to a
Well, I was
White
still
Snake
in high
show?
school. I was a junior. Well, I was into the 80s rock, like people were in the 80s.
Mhm.
And I had an opportunity to go to a concert in Daytona, of all places. It's like an hour from here to the east. And my mom said I could go if I took my little brother with me. So I took him, and he got lost. And that was before the days of cell phones. And I mean, can you imagine a state losing a 14-year-old kid? I was only 16, so yeah, it was. I freaked out for a little while,
Yeah,
but
you
we
were in trouble.
reconnected and made it back to the car. Yeah. I don't think my parents still know that he got lost.
Oh boy, was he at the show? Was he at the concert with you?
Yeah, it was Great White and White. Yeah, he was with me. That was the deal. I could go if he went with me.
Oh man. Ah, nice. So that would have been pretty cool. But how you were 16, you said he was 14? I found that shirt just kind of Googling and
3 years
looking up
between
and
us. Yeah.
Nice. So
I had it.
I bet that was a wild show. Where was it? What show? What date was it then? Did you go to October, November, December? Which one? Do you remember?
Mm-hmm. It was in a.
Yeah, where was the show?
No, I don't remember, man. That was 30 years ago. You're gonna have to help me with this stuff. It was Great White. Timeline.
Yeah, right.
It was White Lion.
Yeah, you said who was opening
and White Snake.
Oh wow, that is cool. So where after you kicked off with that, a 16-year-old just chilling out in Florida, where'd you go next, like concert wise, and what kind of brought you over to the country music side? I mean, because White Snake started off at 16. That's pretty heavy for a 16-year-old, right?
Well, I kind of experimented with like Def Leppard, and I mean, it wasn't too intense. It was what was being played on the radio in the late 80s. Then I got into the 89, 90, with Garth and Travis Tritt. Oh man, Travis.
Yeah.
And that whole group that I think they called them the class of 89. And that got Alan Jackson. That got me into country. And then I went back into rock for a little while in 90s, like the Lenny Kravitz and Bush and Three Doors Down and those kind of alternative stuff. And then like in 07, 08-ish, I got back into country.
Nice.
Not like
what
Robert
brought you
with
back
his
in
crazy
07?
Kiss days, but I was into some more. I was dating a guy that was listening to country, and just the guy I was dating was a country listener, and I just kind of fell into that radio station listening to that kind of stuff. And I remember where I was when I heard Church And I remember walking across the floor. I remember the house I was in, and that whole kind of deal. That was the first time I put the name with a song, and it just kind of stuck. Like, it was awesome.
What was the first church song you heard?
Love Your Love the Most is the first one I remember.
All right. Hang on one second, guys. I'm going to go ahead and refresh real quick. I know there's a lot of us watching. I know we have a delay. We probably have about 5 or 6 second delay between you guys. So let me just refresh and see if anything happens. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
All right. Are you back? Can you hear me now? Is it better? No, we still got that delay.
Better than what? You want me to try to log off and get on my phone?
Yeah, see if you can log off and log back in real quick, because we do have a delay. It's kind of sorry, guys. I do apologize. We're gonna see if we can get it fixed on Carrie's end here before we see if she could log off and log back in, and we'll get her back in. So sorry about that, guys. I just want to make sure. Hey, Laura, how you doing? Sorry, I'm trying to catch up on the chat now too. So, but I want to make sure we're hearing everything right and everything's sound really good tonight before we move on and I start really digging into any questions with her tonight. So, you guys aren't hearing a delay on your end, Robert? That's good. I mean, maybe it's just my end then, or maybe it's catching up. I have like a 5 or 6 second delay on my ears, so I just wanted to make sure everything was good. I'm glad if you're not hearing on your end, I'm glad it's not, because this is gonna be all editing for me. All right, let's see. All right, is that better?
Is that better?
Oh, that's much better.
Okay, good. Yeah, Verizon's a lot better than satellite internet. I had a feeling that would be a problem.
I'm sorry. Everybody in the chat saying what delay, or no, a couple people are saying I have a delay. I have a delay. Okay, you guys, let me know if you guys are not hearing. I heard they all heard delay, so maybe it's over now. But hopefully we got it fixed, guys.
I heard it too, so I'm sure it was on my side.
You had it. You heard it too. Okay. Yeah, because I would ask you a question. I know it'd go like 5 or 6 seconds. I wouldn't hear nothing. I'm like, okay. I'm like, is that on my end or? Okay, so I think we got it fixed now. All right, let's jump into things. All right, I'm excited. All right, you got a better angle now, right?
I'm good. Let's hope my arm lasts.
You want to prop it up before
I can't see you. I can't see you, and I can't see any of the chat anymore. But
let's see if I throw. Everybody's saying better. Can you see the words on the screen or no?
I can see Vicky. I can see what Vicky just posted, but I can't see.
Okay. Huh. Let's figure that out. Hopefully, if I put pictures up, you'll be able to see that. Sorry, guys. I apologize. I will try to edit all this in for the streaming side of things, so you guys get to see the live show happen as we do it. So it's always fun. So we're talking about 07, 08 is when you kind of really started listening back to country again. What Eric Church song did you first hear?
The first church song that I remember hearing was Love Your Love the Most.
Nice. That was definitely one that got a lot of people in, I know, back in the younger days. And doesn't bother you that he doesn't really play it much anymore? I know we got to hear it a lot on Double Down, but
I was very happy that I got to hear it when I was in Chicago.
Yeah.
Because I got that pit ticket from you, and I was lucky enough to be down in the front when he was singing it. So that was cool. Yeah, there was some cool stuff there. It's good to be next to people in the know.
It's always fun to be in the pit too. It's always a good experience. So when you first heard Love Your Love the Most, you said it was like 07, 08 when you first really started hearing Eric. But you first saw him, was it 2014, you said?
Yeah, 2014. I went to this show. This is why I wore this shirt. And it was a festival, and a couple of girlfriends of mine and I decided we were going to go. And I think we had won tickets or something. So we drove up to Jacksonville, and it was in the stadium there, the football stadium. And we went, and we were sitting in our seats, which were nosebleed seats. And I don't know how we heard it, but we heard on the radio, they were like, if we're down in the fan area, if you come down and tell us that you heard us on the radio station, whatever we are, we'll give you upgrade tickets. So the night
Oh,
that
that's
Eric
awesome.
played, we were like in the very bottom row of the first, not on the floor, not on the ground, but the first row of bleachers. We were on the front row of that, like right up close to the stage. So I couldn't have picked a better time to get free tickets. And then from that show, I was hooked,
Yeah, for
absolutely hooked.
sure. So is this a festival show? Like, who is he with that day?
To be honest, I can't remember a lot of the other people that were there on that day, but it was like a whole, like, Jason Aldean was there one day, Luke Bryan was
Nice.
there one
Okay.
day, and they actually came out and sang The Only Way I Know, but Eric didn't come out and sing with them, because they were different nights or whatever.
Yeah.
I saw Colt Ford, Staples' favorite, Florida Georgia Line was there. There
He,
were quite a
he
few
loves them
people that
boys.
were there. Miranda was there. Just, yeah, lots
That's
and
a
lots
hell
of
of a
people.
weekend.
Yeah, it was all weekend. It was awesome. It was hot, but it was awesome.
I've never done a music festival in Florida. I can only imagine how hot it would be down there. So, 'cause you guys were going to have a Country Thunder, I know, this year, and that got postponed, right?
Yeah, it got postponed until October, it's typically a March show when the
Yeah.
weather's just starting to get warm and before the humidity comes in, and it got pushed to October. And then it seemed like everything was getting pushed to October, and I was like, "Oh man, don't double book me because that's not going to be good." And then he came out and said he wasn't going to do anything until everybody could be safe. So I kind of feel
Yeah.
like I've got a ticket for Cheyenne, but I have a feeling that's going to get postponed to next year too. But I'm still
Yeah, I
going to
know
move out to Colorado.
they said Cheyenne they're going to make a decision on June 1st is what I was seeing or hearing from different people. So, but I highly doubt Cheyenne's going to happen. I highly doubt we see any concerts at all other than like bar shows and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
know artists are trying to even book house shows already because they know how it's probably going to be pretty rough this year.
Yeah.
So, which I think it might be for the best right now. I mean, they're slowly opening things back up, and I don't know if there's going to be full stadiums anytime soon. So,
So that
but
picture that you've got up, that Gulf Coast Jam, that's a Labor Day concert. And
okay,
that's a hot concert every year because it's still hot in Florida, even though it's in Panama City Beach, which
mm-hmm.
is where Brian Brown is right now. He moved down from Indiana, and he's
Okay,
giving him a shout out. He's down there or up there from me, but it's like 6 hours north of me from where I'm
oh
at.
wow,
So it's a heck of a drive.
you're more southern Florida then?
I'm right in the center of the state. So we're
Okay,
just south of Gainesville, just north of Orlando. Crystal River's on one side, Daytona's on the other.
okay. Yeah, I haven't been too much down there. The wife and I have been to Fort Myers Beach a little bit, so we have a timeshare down there. But other than that, we haven't really been too far. We want to get the kids to Disney one of these years, but we'll see.
I
So
promise not
you,
to be there the day you go to Disney. I promise not to take up space
why
there.
is that a bad thing?
I think I've been to Disney the last time. I know Sue DiLorenzo loves Disney. She's a kid at heart. I love Sue.
Oh yeah, she's coming up on the show. I think in June. So
Oh,
I'll be
good.
announcing my June lineup soon. So I'll be
Good.
announcing next week's show tonight, but then hopefully this weekend I'll be putting up all June. So, but she's one of them. I can't wait to have her on. I know she's gonna be awesome. Her enthusiasm sometimes is
Oh my God.
amazing.
I love her. So, was it 3 years ago we did the Nashville show, the first Nashville show, the Hold My Own?
Mm-hmm.
And you were doing trivia. Do you remember?
Okay,
And Sue, do you remember the pre-party that we did at the bar?
that's
I
the one
think
we
it was
did at Tin Roof, wasn't it? Or
Yeah, so you were standing up on the thing. I was standing right next to you, and then Sue was over. Sue's the only person I recognized from the chat room that I had been in because I had joined the chat room. And there's so many people up there, my goodness. But I did recognize her, so I got to give her a hug. And then I met a girl that lives not too far from me here in Florida, and a girl that lives in Tennessee. So I sat with them at the
oh
table,
wow.
and we connected that way. So that's when I started making friends in the church choir. Was that party?
I remember that. I think that's the first time you and I really met.
Yeah.
I was trying to find a picture. I don't know if I ever found that picture or not from that party. 'Cause I thought there was a picture of us. I don't even know if I found any pictures from that party now. I come to think about it.
I only had
That
one.
was That was a very fun party, and 'cause that was when he did the 2 nights closing out the Holding My Own tour.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really cool because I think I had a seat that night, and I left the party, got over there, and someone's like, "Hey, get up front. We got you a pit ticket," and just threw a pit ticket at me. I'm like, "What, really?" And that was the
Hey.
night I ended up getting the lava lamp at the end of the show. So I couldn't believe that. That was pretty damn cool.
Huh.
So that was one of my favorite shows, though. But going back to like Holding My Own tour, because Nashville, the 2 nights and the flags and all that stuff was just awesome. But like a year ago, we were all in Nashville too. I didn't know it was sneaking us up on us, but Memorial Day weekend, I mean, it's always been pretty big for church and the choir in Nashville.
Yeah, last year was
So
awesome.
yeah, last year was a good time. But a year ago, last year was it was the party we had on that Sunday, right?
The
That was a year ago. That was the 26th, right?
the party at the doghouse.
Yeah.
I think it was a couple days before because we made a whole weekend out of that.
Yeah. That was a fun weekend.
Oh my
So I
God.
don't know what was better, Nashville or Texas, but
Yeah, that's a hard call. That's like saying whether you like chocolate or vanilla better. They both have their strong points.
exactly. I definitely understand that. So
Oh, that's
after you
dystopian.
after you, the show in 2014 and you saw Eric, when was your first like real choir experience? I mean, you were just talking about like Nashville and coming to the Holding My Own and the bar, but after that, you really got to knowing people. What was like your biggest choir experience you've had after that, and kind of really connecting with people?
It had to be Texas because I didn't know anybody. I was every concert that I had done, like this one in Jacksonville that I went to by myself. I was in the pit. TC3 opened up for church, and I remember walking in there. I wrote a little blurb about that on one of the pages. That I just walked in there. I didn't know I had a pit ticket. I thought I had a floor seat. So when they let me in the pit, I stood up against the rail. I had my hip bones on the rail, and I did not move for like 4 hours.
Oh, wow.
And there are probably lots of people that I know that were there, but I didn't know them then. But I did the Jacksonville show, and then one of my girlfriends went with me to the Tampa show. And then I went by myself again back to Jacksonville. And until I got in a group and Andrew Reed said, I really want to go to Texas, but I don't like to fly. Is anybody willing to go with? I was like, yeah, I'll drive with you, whatever. And my other girlfriend that lives here in Bellevue, Vanessa, she decided she would go with us. So we made a road trip out of it. And then Texas is where I met almost all the people I know today.
Yeah, all your friends, huh? Or pretty much everybody in the choir, yeah.
Yeah, we were only there because we only went the first night because we had to drive home, so we couldn't stay the second show. But man, what a fun time.
Texas was a really good time. I mean, that was definitely. I wish I would have stayed at the hotel with everybody. Well, part of me does, but part of me doesn't. But but it was definitely a good time with the whole crowd. And hopefully next year we could repeat that. I mean, I highly doubt anything in 2020 is going to happen, but hopefully in 2021 we'll have something.
Every
going
emotion
on.
that you could have, I think I had that weekend in a very short amount of time.
I'm trying to see. Oh, Liz said you guys shared a bottle of Jack Fire in Coleman. And then she said the rest was history.
Yeah, that was the Alabama. Ooh,
Yep.
Yeah, that was the night that I fell asleep at 7:30 and they all made fun of me, but I was awake the next morning at 7. So
that was what, Rock the South? That was down in Coleman?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was Rock the South that they have every year. So of all the shows and all the places you've traveled to see Eric, what's been some of your favorite places that you actually traveled and seen him at?
Well, let's see. Favorite places are always Nashville because there's always something to do. Like I feel a little bit comfortable going around town by myself. Greenville was amazing. I had a great time with Joelle and Heather and a couple of us girls. We got together and went out for breakfast, and you just kind of hung out and got to know each other a little bit better because you can only get to know each other in a concert weekend when you're passing each other. Like everybody wants to see everybody. Like when we were at the Gorge, you see everybody, but you don't really get to talk to anybody.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we actually had time to sit down and talk with each other, and the town was beautiful. It was a beautiful time of year, and it was just like people hanging out and getting to know each other and loving
It
the
was.
same reason that we're all there.
I definitely. Everybody's saying where they all met Carrie. That's awesome. Greenville sounds like a big show. I missed that one for sure.
It
I was
was
hoping to get out that one. That was one I didn't make it out to. But so let's see. You actually went out to Red Rocks too, right? For a little
I
bit.
did go out to Red Rocks. That
Yeah,
was
this
one
picture
before I
I
knew
found.
everybody. When I knew that concert was going on sale,
Mm-hmm.
or tickets were going to go on sale, it was going to be the week of my birthday because my birthday is August 7th, and those shows were the 8th and the 9th, or the 9th and the 10th. I don't remember. So I was like, I'm going
Yeah.
to treat myself to this VIP experience, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I had a much better internet connection at work than I have at home, and I was fortunate to be able to like take a break and just get those tickets at work. And that morning, I left out of Orlando, flew straight to Denver, rented my car, drove to the Thirsty Lion pub where they were doing like this big get together and everybody was going
Mm-hmm.
to meet to get on the bus. I had a cousin that lived out there, so I got to connect with him for a little while.
Oh,
And
that's
then
cool.
when he had to go back to whatever he was doing, I hopped over to another table with this couple. And
Mm-hmm.
turns out that they were 2 seats over from me. And of that
Oh
whole
man.
venue, they were in the ninth row, like seat 34 or 35, whatever. So they were right next to me. And then when we got there, and we kind of like buddied all the whole way there, and we got our tickets and everything. And then when the show started, the night that I was there, because I only bought one ticket, the night I was there was Maren Morris. And the lady that was next to me and her husband, they were older couple, but she'd been drinking very heavily at the Thirsty Lion. And then when we got to the amphitheater, she started smoking. And then they
Oh.
disappeared. They never came back. Like they left during Maren Morris and never came back. And I thought how much of a disappointment that would have been to go all the way out there
Oh
and miss
yeah.
that show. But I sat there by myself and didn't know anybody. And I know there were people behind me that probably I know now. And when the show was over, I got back on the bus and got back in my rental car and drove back to the airport and waited and flew home. So I never went to sleep. I
I
just,
did that when Eric played the amphitheater in Nashville. Ascend Amphitheater. We did back to back. I never slept those nights.
that was an awesome show too. I did drive with my girlfriend Vanessa. We drove to Nashville for that show, and I had a pit ticket, and she'd had some surgery on her knee, so she
Mm-hmm.
wanted to sit on the lawn. And I forget the name of the group that opened for them, Rowdy somebody, but they weren't really my taste. So I went back and I sat with Vanessa on the lawn. I gave up my pit ticket. So we
Oh
watched the
wow.
whole show from the lawn. She was a trooper and she hung in there with me. So I figured it was better to be with my bud than be in the pit.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's one thing for me. I mean, I always try to be with someone I know. If I go by myself, then whatever, I go where I could be. But I like sitting like in seats and having a seat to go to and whatnot. But I do like pit every now and then too because it's fun.
Yeah, if you're
It's a
with
good
people
time.
the pit's good. But if you're not,
Yeah.
it can kind of stink. But the day after that show, when we came back home, we stopped at the Jack Daniel's distillery and we toured that distillery. And anybody that's been there knows you've got to climb those steps to get up to the top to see how the thing works. And
Yep.
Vanessa, God love her, man, she had that knee brace on and she climbed every one of
Oh,
those steps.
man. Yeah, that's a lot of stairs to be climbing.
Yeah, she hung in there with me though. I was very proud of her.
I was supposed to be in Lynchburg about 3 weeks ago, and I didn't get a chance to make it out there. So hopefully soon. I'm definitely due for a trip to Lynchburg soon. I think we moved it to October, so we'll see. Everything gets moved to October.
Yeah, I actually scheduled a like an Airbnb and I opened it up to everybody. I forget which page I put it on, but I'm like, hey, if you want to
Mm-hmm.
get to know, members of the choir, just sign up and pay your share. And we made that part of that trip so that when we went to do the second time, that was when I toured the distillery. All those folks in that picture that were in that house with us. And
Oh,
then
that's
Melanie Panetta came and her husband.
That's neat.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
And she brought me some moonshine. That was fun. And that was the first time that I saw Chief play because we were in downtown and Nikki Ball was our DD. Thank you,
Okay.
Nikki. And we were upstairs at the Redneck Riviera, and we
All
kept
right.
asking him to play all these Eric Church songs. And he's like, well, we're going to do a tribute to Eric Church in a little while. He goes, but we can start early. So we kind of pushed his set list a little bit.
That's cool. Those guys are they're right, man. They're definitely a good time. So do you travel for anybody else other than Eric? Like any other artists at all?
I traveled for Job. I did go to Dahlonega,
Ah,
Georgia, and I had
good.
another house that I did the same kind of thing. Like when we went to Tennessee,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did that thing. Hey, let's go to Dahlonega for Christmas because it's supposed to be like this real pretty town,
Mm-hmm.
and it's got some interesting things. But the following week, Job was going to be there, so
Okay.
I convinced myself that it wasn't that bad of a drive, and I would go back to see Job again.
Oh wow. There you go.
Yeah,
That's
and
definitely
I
one to
did
go back to see. So
say that again.
that's definitely one to go back to see.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I did go to Nashville to see Ashley when she was at the what's the name of that what was the name of that place she was at? And she did the video.
Is it Motor City or
No, oh,
not
the huge name I
Motorworks or
Marathon
yeah,
Marathon.
Marathon. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's it.
So
So the girl that I met in Nashville, Darla, that lives in Tennessee,
mhm.
I met up with her and then we went. And so now she knows a lot of the people that I know, and she lives there, so she knows a lot of people in the music business that are there. So I think it's nice when people kind of make connections, friends of friends, and that kind of thing.
Oh
Just
yeah, I
curious
definitely
people.
agree. So is it like when you traveled for anybody else, is it like traveling with the choir at all or going to shows with the choir? Is it something like you've never seen? Like to me, I travel to go see church mainly for the people that are going to the shows. I mean, yeah, the show's badass. I mean, don't get me wrong, and every show is almost different. There's really not too much or two shows that's ever really been the same. I mean, it's the same concept, but I mean, he always throws something in there. You never know what he's going to do. He always has something different. But for me, the reason why I keep coming back is it's more the music, kind of like what he was preaching on the Double Down tour. And I know a lot of people that might be listening to this show might not get why people travel so many or go to so many shows. And so that's something that we need to know, like kind of, I mean, why do we keep coming back? I mean, what to you keeps bringing you back?
Well, I miss all my people. Like I'm loving seeing all these Facebook memories and stuff because it reminds
Mhm.
me of the people that we did fun stuff with. Like 2020 is literally the year of hindsight.
Yeah.
Because that's all we have to do is look back at stuff that we've done. But yeah, I would when we went to Pittsburgh, I went to one show. I went to the Friday night show, and then my girlfriend Vanessa that lives here in Florida, she didn't want to do the show the second night in a row, which I understand. Not everybody does that stuff like we do. So
Yeah.
she wanted to go tour like the Warhol Museum and the the Heinz place, all the stuff that's still other to do in town. So I
Hmm.
did that with her and we still had a great time, but we went to the bar with the choir and we hung out with the choir and we still listened to church music. But, and that kind of thing just over and over and over again isn't for everybody, and that's okay. That's
Yeah. And
that's
I
why there's
definitely,
only one channel on the radio.
exactly. And I've learned that over the years. And people always ask me like what keeps bringing me back. And I tell them, I said, it's the music is awesome, yeah, but it's the experience. I mean, every time that
Yeah.
we go and we all get together, it's a different experience. We're always having a good time. I mean, somebody's gonna do something stupid that we're gonna talk about for 2 years, and it's gonna be funny. But it's always a good time, and it's just I don't know, it feels like home in a way because it feels like an extended part of your family. And sometimes people in the choir you're more attached to than your own family. And you have better memories of. And I mean, I can honestly say that too on my side. So, I mean, when people ask like, "Oh man, you've seen so many shows, you keep going back. What keeps bringing you back?" And it's the choir and it's the people that's in it. I mean, that's why I enjoy this so much.
Yeah, the stories
So,
that you tell aren't about what Eric does. It's about what your family's done while you're
yeah.
while you're on tour together.
Exactly. I mean, it's the memories that are made, and we used to do this even back in the early days. And it's kind of like what you do when you go to the show, because you're not just going. A lot of people of us don't go just to the show. We'll go sightsee, or we'll do something different, and so we'll always do stuff. I know there's a picture of what was that one picture? I know it wasn't a concert show, but I think you were at Niagara Falls. I pulled a picture of you, and it's and that was something that I did once. So when I once saw Eric, we took a road trip, and Carla and I did. We went to Niagara Falls. We went across Canada. We did all this different stuff, and it's cool because even like in Texas, like everybody went and did things, and they sightseed. Some people went to that spray paint wall in Austin and did different things. So it's kind of like we're not just going for church. There's life outside of church, and we all get together and we have fun and do these different things. So
that Niagara Falls picture is when I flew into Buffalo, and Dan and Lynn met me at the airport, and I was literally the last passenger off of the plane, and they had stood there the whole time with this sign that's behind me that says "Welcome, Carrie." And they stood there while every person walked past them, bless their hearts, and I was like, "Is it too late to get a drink?" And they're like, "Just come over here. We're ready for you." But I flew into Buffalo, and then Lynn and I drove into Canada, and we got to see her mom because her mom is Canadian or lives in Canada. And we did a little bit of stopping and sightseeing as we went through there. So I'd never been to Niagara Falls before. I'd never been to that part of New York before.
Yeah.
My brother lives in New Jersey, so I'd been to the city once, but not really, any other part of New York. So it was nice to see. Dan and Lynn are good tour guides for whoever wants to go. And they've got a nice room that's decorated quite nicely.
Nice. I was going to try to meet up with them. We were supposed to be like about 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago. We were supposed to be out that way. It was my Mother's Day weekend, actually. It was my graduation for college at Southern New Hampshire University. But with everything going on, it got canceled. So hopefully one of these days I'll get back out that way. So, but it's definitely a good time. But that's what I love about the choir in general. It's just hanging out, being together, and there's a concert sometimes on the side.
Yeah.
So, and in the sightseeing, the stuff that we get to see and do and go around. Let's see. Now, do you think when concerts and all this get started back up, do you think things are going to be different or things are going to change at all with the whole concert industry?
I think the people that go are going to expect it to be the way it was before, and they're going to do everything in their power to make sure it is the same as it was before. What happens at the gate? Who knows?
Yeah.
I can't see a stadium sitting every other seat. That's not going to work.
No. And then I'm trying to people wear masks and all this other stuff. I know I live close to Six Flags Great America here outside Chicago, and they're talking about opening back up soon, and they're going to have waiting lists, and you're going to have to wear a mask. And I can't imagine wearing a mask in 90-degree weather going to a theme park. So I just don't know how they're going to do all this and everything. So I'm kind of in between things now. I mean, I was one-sided before with all this, but now I'm kind of in the middle and just want to see where everything's going to go, because I really think it's going to change the face of concerts and the way we see things. It's going to suck in a way, and I hope it doesn't really affect the fan that much.
Yeah. Well, there's going to be people that don't want to wait, just like now. There's going to be people that are going to say, I don't need it right now. I'll wait and take my turn. And then there's people like my parents live next door to me. I haven't hugged them since March.
Yeah.
I'll go over and sit on the back porch, but my parents are both kind of frail, but it's everybody's going to do what they want to do in their time, and nobody's going to push anybody. At least anybody I know, nobody's going to be pushed around to do what they don't want to do. So, to each his own. That's how I look at it.
I agree. And you have to kind of protect yourself and stay safe. So,
yep.
Let's see, trying to catch up with some of these. Trying to catch up with all these chat. Hopefully, no stadium tour. I hopefully no stadium tour too. I mean, you can go back to small shows. So, yeah, Sue says she doesn't want things to change. I really hope things don't change, but I don't know what they're going to do. They got to do something and to see where it goes from there. So,
yeah.
All All right, you sent me over some photos of something that this is really cool, and I want you to talk about this blanket or this quilt, because my wife has been trying to get me to make a quilt all my old church shirts for the longest time, and these are really cool. So you gotta tell
Thank
me about
you.
this.
So, the one on the bottom, which is the smaller one, that was I had done a quilt that was all of my 5K shirts back when I was doing that. And when I was doing 5Ks. And
Yeah.
it's very hard to rip up a shirt, especially a tour shirt. But I thought I can take the shirt with me anywhere. I can show off 20 shirts at one shot versus wearing one, you
Oh,
know.
yeah.
And it's funny because that one on the bottom, when I went to Texas, that's the one that Vicky recognized when I was in the hotel lobby. She's like, "You're Carrie. I recognize your whoopee." And then I had so many more shirts that I did the one on the top. And it's by a company called Project Repat,
Mm-hmm.
REPAT, and they're out of North Carolina. They're all U.S. workers, and you really cut out the part of the shirt you don't want, which is like the back if it's just
Yeah.
plain. And then they take whatever's left and do squares, and you can get 10 by 10 or 12 by 12, or they do any material at all. So you can have a jersey, you can have dry fit, whatever. So
Yeah.
while it hurt like hell to send those off and have them be cut up, I love
Yeah.
what they turned into.
Oh yeah, it looks really cool. Like I'm the same way. I've always been like, yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about my shirts, but then when you sent these pictures over, I was like, well, that's actually really freaking cool the way they did that.
Yeah, they're awesome. I
So,
love them. Except the one on top has a black background, and for some reason, it really collects dog hair. I've got a black and white border collie, and it is
uh-huh.
absolutely slam up with dog hair on the back. The bottom one, for whatever reason, it's gray. It's not this. It doesn't collect the dog hair, but
Oh,
it's
that's
nice.
really neat though.
Yeah, I love them.
Don't give Chief Merch any more ideas though. We need to have these cameras right now because that's like $1,000 out like pocket money right there.
Yeah.
They'd be selling those on the website here in about a month. All
Those
their
are
old
going to be wrapped around me when I meet my maker. So
I hear you.
everything else back here is in my will to donate to you to
Yeah.
hopefully take care of and do an auction for the Sunny Mountain Living the Dream Foundation.
Oh, they would love that. Yeah, everybody always asks me, they're like, what are you ever going to do with all your stuff? I'm like, I don't know. Before I had kids, I'm like, if anything happened to me before I had kids, I'm like, bury me with the guitar or whatever else. Do whatever else with everything else.
Well, you remember
But
I messaged you one time and I'm like, I know you don't know me, and this is going to sound really weird, but would you mind taking all my stuff when I kick the bucket and just find a good use for it or a home for it or an auction for it? Or
I would.
you're like, yeah, it's okay.
I
You're
definitely
not the
would.
only one that's asked me that.
I would always find good homes for things. So that's one thing. I've always never really sold anything. If I've ever sold anything, it's been pretty much for whatever. But I try to always make sure everybody finds what they're looking for good deals or whatever. But if I ever find those damn boxing gloves, I don't know. That's something I've been looking for a while. So I think that's one of my biggest items. That and the record player. The record player is not so much, but those
Oh,
boxing
man.
gloves. I'm telling
The
you.
record player is beautiful. The first time I've only seen one of those in real life, or IRL, as the kids say, was at Jeff Brown's house, Jeff and Candace. And
Mhm.
looking at how his house was decorated is what
Yeah,
inspired all this, because I only had like three things on the wall. I had this
yeah.
vinyl and like three posters. And when I came home, I'm like, all my stuff's in the other room that I never even see. Why? Like, this is what makes me happy.
Yeah.
So I moved it all out here and put it as close as I can. And this isn't even my only wall, but this is what I look at every day.
Our air conditioning's out upstairs, so I think I'm gonna be staying down here in my basement for the next couple of
Oh,
days
no.
because it's nice and cool down here. So I'm like, yeah, I'll chill down here and just look at everything for a while. Well, I'm
Just
still
puts you in
trying
a
to
happy mood, right?
put this desk together and everything else. So I don't know. Hopefully, I can get this nice new board working by next week. So because my next week's show is gonna be a pretty good one. So I
Oh,
think you
yeah,
might know who it
Chris.
is.
Yeah, I know who Chris is.
Yeah,
changed
it's a
my
good
clothes in
one.
front of Chris.
Oh no, we don't need to know any of those stories.
No, it's a good story. It's a good story. We were in Ohio, and Lynn and Dan and I had been standing in the front. We had stood up front for Ashley for a long time. So
Yeah,
she came out and played her set, and when she was done, you know how she waits off to the side to sign stuff, and the band was all there. So Heather had gotten a meet and greet with Eric, and Candace came up to me and she's like, Heather can't find her shirt. Can she borrow your shirt? And I'm like, I don't mind, but I don't have anything to wear, and I really don't want to stand in this meet and greet line in my underwear. So she peels off her shirt and hands me her shirt. So I've got one picture in the meet and greet line with Ashley wearing one shirt and another with Chris wearing another shirt.
that's hilarious. That
Yeah,
is funny.
it was a fun day. Candace is like, I don't even give a.
Right. So tell me about finding this record. So Eric, not many people know Eric hit a bunch of records about 2 years ago or so, and in various record stores across the country. And you're lucky enough to find one. Where did you find yours at?
I was lucky enough to find one. That record shop is called Park Avenue CDs.
Right.
And they are in Orlando. And somebody had released a list, and I don't remember who the first person to find one of those records was, but when they started hitting the news feeds, the
Yeah.
list of record stores came out. So I called the record store and I was like, "Are you going to be on this, distribution?" And the guy that I talked to said, "We can't tell you that, but if you come in and you find it, and you're the first one to find it, then you can have it." So I live like an hour and a half away from Orlando.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm gonna drive down there. I said, I'm not asking any favors, but I said I'm gonna give you my phone number. If somebody gets there and they get it, will you just call me so I don't have to drive the whole way and turn around? He goes, I can't tell you that it's here, but if somebody gets it before you get here, I'll call you. So I said, okay. So I grabbed my roommate and we listened to the CD the whole way down there. And
Yeah.
we walked in together, and damn if it wasn't there. So we got
Oh
super
man,
lucky.
that
Yeah,
is so cool. That is
yeah.
definitely a cool thing. It was funny because there's one, I don't know who got it, but there was a record. I was camping when I found out about it. And it was a Sunday, and there's a record shop in West Virginia. And I'm like, I bet you there's one there. And I told my mom, I'm like, hey, tell my cousin or ask my cousin if she'll run over there real quick and see, because they were open. And she didn't get over there to the next day, but within 3 hours, someone found it. I was like, damn it, I knew there'd be one over there. And I think
Mine
it got
didn't have any tickets. It was just
yeah,
the
I was gonna
record.
say, okay, it was just the records. You didn't have the golden ticket or anything
Nope.
inside of it.
But I didn't care, man. That's what a find.
That is so cool. Yeah, those are cool. I mean, not many people hide records like that. So when that happened, that was cool for someone like that to do that.
Yeah, it was pretty
Especially,
neat.
I mean, finding out if there really are test prints and all this other stuff, but they're still really freaking cool to find a free album like that in
Oh, yeah.
a record store.
Yeah.
So I found a picture. I want you to tell me about this one. Where is it? Talking about other artists you've gone and seen. So this is probably an old one.
Edwin McCain, right? I won
Yeah.
tickets to that in Ocala. He came to Ocala.
Okay.
I live in the Ocala National Forest, which is the town's Ocklawaha, and then
Mhm.
about 20 minutes west of me is Ocala. So we've had Michael Ray. I won tickets to see him. So I won the meet and greet package, and I kind of
Nice.
scrunched down a little bit. He's not as tall as I thought he was. Maybe I'm taller than he thought I would be. I don't know. But yeah, every time we get somebody come to Ocala, we try to, no matter what genre it is, go and support them, because
Yeah.
these artists that come and then nobody shows, I just don't get it. Like, we
Yeah.
need to support live musicians.
Well, I agree. I definitely agree. Yeah, Edwin was one of my favorites back in, I don't know, probably the 90s or so. So when I was scrolling through your photos, I came across that. I was like, man, I gotta bring that picture up because I
Yeah,
used to love some Edwin McCain back in the day.
that's probably from 2014, I would guess.
Okay. I have a picture with him probably from the late 90s. So I haven't seen him in years, but definitely was
He's
one of my
still good.
favorites.
He's still good.
So, all right. Well, we have a game I play every week that I'm going to put on. I'm going to ask you 9 questions.
Okay.
I normally have music that I play that I try to time everybody 60 seconds, but I'm not going to do it tonight. We're just going to play this kind of rapid fired. But what would be your dream Crossroads episode with 2 artists?
James Taylor and Linda Ronstadt.
Ooh, I like the James Taylor. That's a good one. Oh, yeah, man,
I
Fire
know
and Rain.
Linda Ronstadt was kind of country, so she kind of
Yeah, for sure. Where's your favorite getaway location?
Oh, Nashville.
Oh, nice one. Nice. Your first cassette tape you ever owned?
Oh, probably Born in the USA.
Ooh, okay. All right, mine was Soul Asylum. It had a Runaway Train on it. That was my first cassette I ever owned. I'll never forget that one. I still got it too somewhere. All right, what's the worst concert venue you've ever been to?
The worst venue?
Worst concert venue?
Probably the House of Blues in Orlando.
Really? Why would you say that? Just sound terrible or what?
Terrible. The sound
Really?
system. The artists were good, but I went with my friend Sarah and we just couldn't hear anything.
Man, where's your dream location for an Eric Church concert? Someplace he's never played.
The backyard, right?
Yeah.
I would say Rock Crusher Canyon out in Levy County. It's kind of like an amphitheater, but it's itty bitty. It's like mini size.
Nice.
Very personal. He was probably there at one time in the past, and I missed it.
If you're on a no, we're not gonna ask that one. We're gonna skip that question. Your favorite Halloween costume you ever wore?
Beetlejuice.
Boo, that was probably a good one. See, I wish I would have found a picture of that. One of these times I'm gonna find a picture of someone's. So, what's one item that's still on your bucket list?
Trip to California.
Ooh, okay. And your last one, just how many speeding tickets have you gotten after a church concert?
Only 2.
I saw people asking about that question earlier in the chat. I'm like, I just hold on. I'm going to ask it.
I got one coming back from Nashville from holding my own.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny because it was in Georgia and they have what's known as a super speeder fine if you're over 20 miles an hour on the interstate. It's a long story, but I'll sum up. When the guy pulled me over, I had all this merch in my back seat because I had gone to the pop-up store and I gotten posters for people and all kinds of stuff through Facebook. So he pulled me over and I was playing music, of course, and I had all kinds of stickers and stuff on my car. So I said, Eric Church signed my boot. And he's like, that's nice. May I have your license and registration, please? Like, he didn't care. All these other people that say they got out of tickets because their trooper was cool and they're like, yeah, I heard the music. Good for you. I'm like, not my trooper. Not Trooper Hillard.
That's hilarious.
And then the other one was coming back from, it was either Greenville or I want to say it was Greenville, South Carolina. I got my other one. Or no, it was Greensboro coming back because I was on interstate that I thought was like 80, but it was 55. It was, that one hurt. But I turned that into 2 more concerts for Chris Young because I had to appear in person for that one.
I got my first speeding ticket out how long in February. I was on my way to Nashville, out of all places. Every time I go to Nashville, I always get pulled over. I don't know why. I have a bad string of heading that way. Phrasing, I got pulled over once, and I got pulled over this time. This time I actually got a ticket. I was only doing like 15 over, so it wasn't too bad.
I'd love to let other people drive. That would be fantastic for me. I hate to drive at night, and I hate to. I wouldn't mind being passenger at all, ever.
Lee, I was gonna say I thought she was in North Carolina. I thought one of yours was in North Carolina.
Yep. So. I had just passed Lee's place. Yeah, it was North Carolina.
Those North Carolina troopers, they'll get you every time, huh?
Yeah, and when he said, I've put the date on here for you to appear in court, and I'm like, you mean I can't mail it in? And he's like, no, North Carolina, you have to come in person and stand before the judge. And I'm like, okay.
Man. That is funny.
So it's an old law in the books. And then, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 days later, my mailbox was absolutely flooded with letters from attorneys. So I guess
From
once it
North
hit
Carolina. I
the
remember you
deadlines.
posting that on Facebook.
Yep.
I remember that now.
And I think Lee said, I went to school with that guy. He's a good attorney. I was like, it doesn't do me any good. I had to show up in person anyway.
That stinks. See, that almost happened, I think, to Jillian. She was in Southern Illinois and she got a ticket for Scott's Law, I think it was. But the way they were doing it was so idiotic. Like the cop would pull in front of the car, and then if you couldn't get over, he would just pull you over. And then the other cop would get in front of your car. And it was just like they're piggybacking all the way, because it's the law. If the cop has a car pulled over, you have to get over to the other lane if you're able to.
Right.
So, and she just didn't cross over. This is years ago, and they were trying to make her come all the way back to Southern Illinois, like 7 hours away or something, for court, all this other stuff. And yeah, so she got out of it, or not get out of it. She got getting to pay it and not have to go to court. But yeah, I thought
I
we were
was
going to
going
take a day
in
off.
line with traffic. That's the crappy part, is I just happened to be in the wrong lane.
Yeah, they could pull it, and you had out-of-state plates. I mean, always out-of-state plates.
Yeah.
So they always want to try to get you for that. So. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and get ready to wrap up tonight. I'm going to let you take a little bit of a break, and then I'm going to bring you on for the after show with some special.
Wow, that went by fast.
I know, I told you. The hour just, you never know. Like, I still had stuff on my list that we could talk about, but I'm trying to keep it close to an hour now for tonight. But we're going to have our after show, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So
Okay.
I know I asked you last week. I'm like, who can we get in some trouble with? Like, who do we invite on? And you gave me some names, and this is what I put together. So we're going to have some fun. We're going to share some stories and whatnot. And I'm sure Emily has some good stories with you guys.
I'm ready.
If she's done putting the baby to bed. I know she was putting the baby to bed earlier. So, but yeah, go ahead and take about a 15-minute break. We're going to come back around 9:15, and we're going to be on the Patreon page on Facebook. And thank you so much for sitting down and chatting with me tonight. It was amazing.
Thank you. My pleasure. My goodness, what an honor to be on this show.
It was fun. I was definitely.
We didn't even get to talk about Jeremy's book.
Oh, my God,
have you finished it yet?
No, I'm about 3/4 of the way. So I'm getting there.
I've listened to it twice.
Oh, really? See, I'm trying to read it. I want to listen to it, but I'm trying to read it too. So
you've got to listen to it, and the audiobook is awesome because you get the music and you get the sound effect, and it's all scripted. So if you got the audiobook, just let it play, man.
All right.
Give your eyes a break.
All right, yeah, I cannot wait till we can get together again and see a show. So if Cheyenne happens, I'm definitely going to be there, but I highly doubt it's going to happen. So, but we'll see until we
gather again.
Yes, we will, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I'll see you in a couple minutes.
So, all right, take care, and we'll chat soon.
All right.
All right, bye. All right, guys, that was a great time tonight. Let me go ahead and clear all this out. So that was fun. We're going to catch up again a little bit with Dan and Lynn and Emily here on Patreon in a little bit over on, it's a great book. See, I was trying to read it. We were just talking about, if you guys could see it is sitting back here to, actually, no, you guys can't see that angle, but it's The Divine Devils by Jeremy Spillman. He was on a few weeks ago. And amazing book. It is in our giveaway. So if you guys are part of our Patreon and you are a $5 or more a month member, every month I have a giveaway. And this month it is a Lewis Bryce giveaway, since he was our guest this month as well. And it's a t-shirt, autograph CD, a bunch of stuff. I'll have to find the image and throw it back up here in a minute for you. Let me go ahead and pull that up. Sorry, guys. I got a lot of editing on the show to do tonight from the beginning and everything before we put up on the streaming site. Go ahead and pull this up. But yes, if you guys are a member of our Patreon, this month we are giving away a Lewis Bryce prize pack with the Jeremy Spillman Divine Devils autograph book. So the next 4 months we will be having autographed copies of the book to give away. And the shirt that comes in the pack comes in either women's or men's, so there will be 2 different options depending on who wins next week. But you have 1 more week to enter, and if you are entered, you do get the show tonight. So we are going to be going here in a minute on our Patreon after show on Facebook, and it's going to be fun. And Jennifer, congratulations. I know you had a graduation to go to tonight. So tell your kids congratulations on that. And everybody else out there that were 2020 graduates, congratulations this year, guys. I know some people had drive-by graduations like Jennifer did tonight. Others didn't get one. And for everybody that didn't get one, it sucks. I know. And it does. I don't know what else to say. But it was probably for the best right now. And I really hope a lot of these schools do make something up or do something special for these kids that didn't get at least a high school graduation. So people work hard for graduations. And I know how it is because I worked hard the last 2 years for mine and didn't get to go to mine this year. I hope mine's postponed and whatnot. But I really feel the kids for like high school that work 4 years really hard and didn't get a graduation this year. So definitely feeling for you guys this year and whatnot. But yeah, congratulations, Jennifer, to your son, too. And that's amazing. Having a sixth grader. God, I cannot believe I have a first grader. And it's just, whew, boy, life goes by quick. So if you guys didn't hear us teasing earlier, next week I have a show that's going to be amazing. You guys got to see him a little bit about a month ago. And he did a kind of little brief thing on our Friday night pop-up show. But we are welcoming back Chris Harris from Ashley McBride and Dead Horse, but he will be talking about his career. We'll be talking a little bit about Ashley and what he does for her, but we will be talking mostly about what he's doing and where he's going. This is an amazing songwriter. I cannot wait to have him on, talk to him, and introduce you guys to him if you do not know who Chris Harris is. So I'll see everybody next week. If you're on Patreon, join us in 15 minutes.
The Gainin Memphis podcast with Aaron Shriver is brought to you by Arlo Revolution. As we close the book on another chapter, remember, music gives a soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and life to everything. Next week, Aaron connects more melodies and memories with other fans and the artists they love. Thanks for being a part of this musical journey, and we'll see you next time on the Gainin' Fast on Memphis podcast with Aaron Shriver.